about a year and a half, I'm going to be going to college, which means I have to start thinking about it now.
I haven't the slightest clue of where I want to go to college. All I want to do right now is pass a physics test that I have next week. However, I do know that when I go to college, I would love to play football or try out at least.
I haven't really decided what college in particular I'd like to attend yet, although I would like to attend an Ivy League college like Harvard, Yale, or Princeton.
A couple of years ago, I found out about Spelman College, and I found out that Spelman College is a historically black college.
In terms of colleges, Yale University would be my #1 choice, but I would be perfectly happy to go to just about any Ivy League school. I truly believe that choosing the right college and getting into a good college are some of the most important events in just about anybody's life. And so I'm working very hard to ensure that this will all come out well for me.
Ever since I was a little girl, I thought college was the most important thing to a person. I thought that you must go to a big-name college like Harvard or Yale.
I have this great picture in my head of the ideal college that I want to go to. I want it to be small with not a lot of people. I want it to be somewhere in the northeast of the country. I want the classes to be small and very personal. And I want it to be a place where I can form strong relationships that I can keep for the rest of my life.
We could.
We could. That's you, Jared. That could be you. If you go to the University of Southern California. It's big. It's got catchy music.
All right, next one. So who goes to Wesleyan in your family?
My cousin.
It's very highly competitive.
It's not something I need.
No, why not?
I'm not competitive.
You don't think you are.
I'm not.
You are.
I am not. How do
I'm in your classes. I know you're
Yeah,
competitive.
no way I'm competitive.
Look at the pictures!
Oh, wow. Spelman went to college.
Is it all girls college?
Yeah.
And of course, I don't know. It's like,
Yeah, it's hard to get into.
I know it's like pretty good. Don't you like do better or something? Because it's like no guys around to keep you all busy.
guys across the street that Morehouse College.
Do you think you feel more comfortable in a black college? But I don't know. That's the thing. Really? I don't know.
But you are looking into some
aren't you
other
comfortable in
ones, right?
Schreiber? Or no?
Not really.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Really?
Usually.
Okay. Excuse me?
I don't know, because
It seems like I'm just excluded because there's only a little percentage of black people, and it just seems like black people are just not like included in.
a part of the
Right.
groups of
But you
people.
guys are making yourself included. You guys are included. You're in like everything. You're in that play. I know you.
We're in it
You're so
still.
popular. What are you talking about? I know. What a liar. You're so.
My sister went to Yale, and my other sister also thought that she might want to go to Yale. Therefore, it's one college that I am. Similarly, like Columbia and Mike Penn and most of the Ivy Leagues that I am pretty much aware of. But honestly, I can't decide exactly which college to choose, which is why I'm thankful that you can choose 5 or 6 at a time without having to decide at the right moment. You can think about it, you can look at them, and you also have to remember that they're going to choose you. You're not choosing them only.
No way you could be bored here.
Why are you going to college? Can somebody say?
Somebody with a college education has a better chance of being chosen for a good job.
Okay, good. Affords you better opportunities in the work world in the future. Why else?
To get an education so I can do something I enjoy when I get older.
Okay. What characteristics of a college would be important to you?
Prestige.
Okay, prestige. Do you want a name brand school or a generic school?
opens up a lot of doors. I mean, certainly you always hear the stories of, you know, executives and CEOs who make it to the top starting in the mailroom, but I think for me, I'd rather take the safe route and get a good degree. And what ends up happening is that the jobs come to you. I mean, from what I read, the average Yale or Harvard graduate will get several job offers from major firms just because they went there.
I hope that he will be able to enter the school of his choice. I know that he's interested to enter any Ivy League school that he can get into. It is important for Mark that he get into an elite school. I know that is his dream.
Does it really matter if you go to an Ivy League? I mean, like Penn, Yale, Princeton even, like, does it matter if I go there, if I go to, like, Duke or Amherst or, like, some non-Ivy League?
The fact is, it does serve you well to get an Ivy League education. I mean, you know, I'm pretty certain that I got where I am today because of my merits, but it doesn't hurt to have Yale University on your resume. I mean, people are going to look twice. People are going to look 3 times. People are going to say, oh, Yale, yeah. If they have a stack of resumes and everyone else went to other schools and this is the one person that went to Yale or Harvard or Princeton, they're going to look twice at that person.
Sarah's college list. Cornell, Brown, I'm at the University of Pennsylvania, Wesleyan. Okay. Our new college list. Huh? What do you think, Charlie? Where do you think I should go to college, huh? Alright, let's see, what should we keep on? Cornell and Brown, Wesleyan, University of Chicago, Yale, Harvard? Huh? What do you think about Harvard? Why not?
Poison in some orange.
Very cool.
Anyway, all right, our stuff for today, if you want to help me, all the ones with the red are going into the incubator.
The group of people in here are, I would say, the most competitive. Last year, I really felt out of it. I wasn't competitive academically, and I didn't feel the pressure to do better. And honestly, after being in here, though I don't, it's not an intense pressure, it really helps to be around everyone else who's competitive and who is doing well, because it really pushes you to do your best too.
Right, that's a really good point. Which puts us in a very interesting predicament as well, because as it turns out, the friends we have and the people who we're building off end up being the people who we're competing with for college acceptance. And that's something which we try to stay away from, I think, for the most part. We don't try to really think, well, we're going to be applying to the same school. We try to kind of put that in the background a little bit. But
in other words, you deny it.
Right. Well, in a way you have to, because I think to maintain
It's the only way to
to maintain the friendship, you can't have that inhibiting you.
Thank you.
How's your pork going?
Really good.
Jesus Christ.
What?
I've never seen so many A's.
Oh, stop it. Yours looks just like this.
Not even half.
Well, it didn't look like this last quarter. Look, we got a C+ in that, in physics. At least that went up. All right. Do my GPA divided by 9 is, wow. Oh, God. Wow, I've never done that well. 4.6.
Rock me.
Why? How'd you do?
Don't worry about it.
No, tell me, really. I'm interested.
I didn't do too well.
Can I see your report card?
No, I don't have it.
Why not? What'd you do with it?
It's in the garbage.
You threw your report card in the garbage?
Sorry, mine wasn't as good as yours.
Sorry. But aren't your parents going to want to see it?
Not if they don't know about it.
They're going to kill you.
Not if they don't know about it. I'm sure they won't find out either.
It's not like I was going to tell them. Jeez. Guess I'll put my report card away. Or should I just throw it in the garbage?
Oh, this is wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
You should be very proud of yourself. I know I'm proud of you. Well, A's and A+, that's great.
You got an A+ in physics.
Yeah.
That's quite an accomplishment. Don't you feel that way?
Yeah, I guess so.
Now, your feeling is definitely at this point that you want to attend Princeton. Is that correct?
No, not definitely Princeton, but
But a school of that caliber.
Yeah, around that price, if a range, definitely.
Okay. Do you have in those books how much Princeton is right now?
Princeton's around $24,650 a year.
And that doesn't include books and room and board and...
No, it's just the
back and
tuition.
forth?
Oh, there's another one talking about the government one?
Yeah, that's a...
Yeah, that's the FAFSA. Yeah, you were right before.
FAFSA. This book came yesterday, and it tells you that about mortgaging your house for the second time. So second mortgages can be deduct the college education.
Hopefully we'll get enough scholarships and financial aid that we might not have to go that far.
Extracurricular activities are a really big part of what a college looks at when they examine an application. It's just another way of selling yourself to a school. I've always done newspaper as an extracurricular activity at high school. When I started, I was the assistant opinions editor, and I eventually moved up through the years to editor-in-chief.
Right down there.
Thy kingdom comes, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
I think being an athlete who does well also academically will help me get into the colleges I will be looking at.
I couldn't imagine going through, a semester and not having done a play. It's a lot of what makes me who I am. I just think it's so much fun, and the relationships you develop with the other people in the cast. There's nothing like it. It's not like being, in school anymore or being home anymore. When you're practicing and rehearsing and when you're on stage performing, you're in another world.
What's left for me? Too many tomorrows. I simply cannot bear.
I don't think I would ever stop. But making it as a career, wow, that's really tough.
If you stay with me.
In terms of competitions, there have been a lot over the years. I've done National History Day 2 years, and we got county championships and state championships. I was on the Science Olympiad team where we got state championships. I applied for a National Endowment for the Humanities grant for doing a research paper. There were competitions with the jazz band where we went to places and were judged. There were model congresses. Since I'm on the model congress team, we've done Great Neck Model Congress, Herrick's Model Congress, and I've won Best Speaker awards for that. And there have been, there's its academic team, which we compete with against other schools, and we've won several times there. And in addition, I send a lot of poetry and essays in. I've sent one to Newsweek. I've sent some to different magazines around the country, and trying to get published there. And so there's a lot of competing I try to do on a national scale.
The whole beginning scene of Ghostbusters was actually filmed here at Columbia. The university spent those proceeds to actually completely resod this land.
So you had to like that tour? I thought it was okay. I mean, it showed me all of Columbia, and I'm now familiar with the place. I know that that's the library, and that's not the library over there. But
it didn't really jump out at me, you know? It's like sometimes when you see things, you're just so amazed, and sometimes you just don't really care, you know? So
What? Like, how come it wasn't? Nothing interested you?
I mean, some stuff interested me. It's just like the dormitory didn't very much turn me on at all, let me tell you.
What'd that look like?
It was like you walk in, well, let me show you. It's like you walk in, and here's the door, and then here's a bed. And then as soon as you walk in, there's a bed right here. And then there's like this much closet space, literally. And then it's like as soon as you go through the door, there's a desk, which is I guess where you're going to put your computer because that's what they have there and their printer and all. And right before you walk in, there's like this bathroom that sort of reminds me of like an airport. It's like this one of these bathrooms that's like so public-y. You know, like, I mean, it's got a black seat and like tiles, you know, it just reminds me of like something you'd seen.
But that's the way a lot of dorms are going to look. I mean, you saw the dorms at Yale, but...
Yeah, but like I remember the bathroom there and it was kind of nice, you know?
Before taking the SAT, we took something called the PSAT, which is basically a practice for the original. It's a little shorter, but it gives you an idea of how well you're going to do on the real thing. It's also scored out of 1600, and I also took somewhat of a practice course for that. And on the PSAT, I got a score of 1430, which is a pretty good score, but I think it was the right score to warrant taking a practice course for the SAT, which is why I'm taking a course at CW Post called the Princeton Review.
But raise your hand if you're sure what the word perspicacity means. 3 of you, very proud. Okay. Obtuse.
Like stupid.
Dull. Thick means thick, dull. Yes. Or stupid in your genteel phrasing. Yes. I think Mark will do very well. He's going to, I think, go, in his case, from being very impressive to exceptionally impressive. I would not be surprised if he approached 1500 or got over it, if things break right for him, which would be, put him in the absolute, probably upper 2%, 1% of the country. So, taking the test, if you have a score over 1400, the schools will, that's a number that will jump off the page to almost any admissions official, even to a lot of Ivy League schools.
Soporific.
Soporific? What does it mean?
Means to make sleepy.
If there's a problem that's very difficult and it's in the middle of the test, skip it, and we'll come back to it.
But remember to come back to it.
Mom, the whole point is that she's pressed for time.
Okay.
If she's all the time in the
I have
world.
one thing to say. From now until I step into that car, we are not talking about the S word, okay?
I just want to tell you that one thing.
Okay.
Usually the problems in increasing order of difficulty.
They do. Just so you know. From 7:38 until I step into the car, no S word. It's going to be mentioned.
Good luck. Yeah. Good luck.
Long. The reading passages were so long. I'm so happy it's over. Taking a test for 3 hours is emotionally and mentally draining. I'm happy it's over, and I think I did well. Well, how did it go? It was hard. I'm so relieved. I stumbled on a math question that screwed me up for the entire section. Then I went back to it and I saw my stupid mistake and I got it, and then I just whipped through the rest of the math section. So I took the math. It was really hard. My grandma's picking me up. Do you want to ride? 1300? I'm afraid to give a guess. I might jinx myself or something. I'll see you later. Bye. Bye.
It's here. Hi. Well, does the number 1590 strike you well? Yeah.
So, you're not happy?
No, not really happy now.
No.
I did okay. I mean, for most people I did well.
but for me, I was expecting to do better, and I was hoping I did better, and when I came out of the test, I thought I did better, so it was kind of a disappointment for me.
Your combined score was what?
1440 out of 1600, which isn't horrible. It's like above the averages and the qualifications for any of the schools I want to apply to, but I really want to do really well to have something else that stands out.
I got a 1320, which is a little bit better than I expected to do, and I'm pretty happy with it. I really don't care that much.
I got a 660 on verbal and a 610 on math. So that's hopeful. I know I can at least go to college somewhere.
Jarrett is also happy with his. He got a 1200, which I think he's pretty much okay with. Neither of us really care too much. Neither of us are going to take them again, and that's it. It was a long test and a long process, and we're done.
I'm not at all happy. I mean, as much as people say the SATs aren't everything, to me they weren't everything, but to me I thought that I could do so much better. And to feel that I got such a low score, in my mind at least, it just didn't settle well with me. I mean, everyone else says it's good, you know, you got a really high score, it's good percentile, but honest to God, that really doesn't matter to me. I did a lot worse than I wanted to. I did a lot worse than I think I can do. And even my father, as much as I hate him for being so mean about it, he knows that I can do better, and he's upset with how I did.
Definitely taking them over in November. Definitely. I am very disappointed. I don't know. The score was so like I didn't think it was mine.
Did you break 1,000?
I broke 1,000 on PSATs, but not on SATs. So I was like, I don't know. I don't think it's my score. Maybe they made a mistake because.
It's hard. At least I know the beginning is hard. Everybody says the second half will be easy, but I don't believe them yet because this is hard right now. And there's a lot of work going on, a lot of extracurricular activities going on, and then applying to college is just on top of it, and it's one more thing to do. So until that's out of the way, everything is very busy.
Do you feel stressed?
Very stressed.
Right now, my personal goal is getting into college and actually surviving that. Surviving the hellishness of applying to colleges right now is my main goal.
These are the array of schools I'm applying to. The first one here, Georgetown, then there's Yale. After that, we have Dartmouth, then there's Cornell, then there's Columbia here. After that, there's Princeton. I used to be leaning toward Princeton, but I think I'm sort of leaning more toward Harvard now, and that's where I'm going to be applying for early action and hoping that I'll get into.
This one's Middlebury. I love this place. The idea that it's in the middle of nowhere and the largest city is 5 hours away is really appealing, and the quietness of it, the peacefulness of it, the fact that everybody up there is a lot less concerned with the rush of this city, and it's a lot calmer. I like that.
I'm fairly confident that Columbia will take me on the basis of who I know from last year that got into the school. You know, I compare myself with them, and I think that I have a pretty good shot. And I think that I really have a pretty impressive application. I have a lot of clubs, a lot of awards. My grades are very good. My SAT scores and all of that turned out very well. So I'm quite confident that it should turn out all right.
My mother died when I was 3, and since then, my grandmother has been my guardian, basically my parent. Ever since I was 6 years old, I was going to be a doctor. So my grandmother's expecting for me to be a doctor. There's an addition to my life, and her name is Kayla. See, say hi, Kayla. But, this is my boyfriend, Vaughn.
Hello.
Okay.
So I didn't know you were pregnant, but you didn't tell anybody, did you?
Yeah, that's right, because I wasn't sure about what I was going to do. Right, and also, it wasn't really my choice because... Grandmother?
Yeah.
Because of my grandmother.
When did Isha tell you that she was pregnant?
6 months. Then she had to tell, so the school nurse told her. And she said, let me tell her. So I went in, and then that's what she said, told me that she was 6 months pregnant. That was a shock.
No one noticed ever because I was always small, so no one noticed. Like, it was kind of weird because I think about it and I was like thinking how much in denial I was that I wasn't pregnant. And like somehow it seemed like me being in denial just made it seem like I wasn't. And because I never got big until like over the summer.
Good time, fun, laughs, good time. Hey, how's that, Palsy?
First we were thinking of adoption because my grandmother she wasn't really supportive. Oh my God. And
the last minute, they called me over, one of the social workers, some called me over and then was asking me, and I just spelled it out that I really didn't want to bring the baby because I didn't feel I was up to raising a little small baby. So Isha and Vaughn went talking and was saying what would he do, what would have to convince me for them to keep the baby. And I said, well, if I'd have completely help, with Vaughn and everybody, that we could probably do this together. So he came back and he told me and he promised that he would be there.
I won't be going to Spelman now. I'm trying to get into NYU. I definitely wouldn't give up my dreams. I'm determined to do whatever I say I'm going to do.
From all the books I've read on colleges, for example, I have books on how to write your essays so that colleges will look at you. And it seems that everybody says it's not an opportunity to be humble. They always say it's your only opportunity to brag about yourself and try to get people to notice you out of these thousands of applications that they're getting, of everybody who's probably has around the same academic level as you, the same outside requirements. There's probably 90% of the people that apply are newspaper editors, for example. And they really say you have to do something that's going to make you stand out in a crowd.
A blossoming young writer, such as myself, finds an endless well of inspiration in New York. A muse that can be humorous, gut-wrenching, and somber. Like my grandfather, I too cherish the values of determination, perseverance, and integrity.
Had she ever been 16 years old and nervous and scared? Had she ever been unsure about why she was traveling across the country for 3 weeks? Had she ever been told by anyone and everyone why she was going away? I wondered.
What my neighbor didn't know was that the doctors would mess up, that my father's brain would be severely damaged. She didn't know that his right side would be paralyzed and that he would spend weeks in a coma and years in rehabilitation. What my neighbor didn't know was that my father would never come back home again. For 3 years, he refused to give up. He fought infection after infection and continuous setbacks. They tried to teach him to speak and walk again, but it didn't work. Most of the time, he couldn't communicate. He died when I was 10. I never heard his voice again.
Music has played a major role in my life and has virtually set my moods. One of my favorite songs, The Circle of Life by Elton John, is a microcosm of what I have gone through, basically relating to my daughter Kayla.
Actually, another one of my thesis statements was originally how people in high school care only how to get rich. My generation, the generation before me, care only for the economic aspect of their future. They care that they want to get rich quick. And I was going to take off on that and say how, well, you can't really focus in on your economic well-being totally when you're deciding what you want to do, because you might not be happy doing that. But then I thought it would be so horrible to do that and then say, well, I want to go into medicine, because everyone is clear that medicine isn't like a poor man's profession, so I didn't want to sound hypocritical within my essay, so I couldn't do that. So it's like I have to take everything into consideration, you know? So I don't know what to do exactly.
I know it's a good sign that I got an interview, but I'm just nervous about the SATs because I did really bad on that. They'll probably ask me, that's what I'm wondering, they'll probably ask me like about Kayla and how I'm going to balance school and Kayla. So I'm nervous.
I don't know what I want to be yet, and I was sure I wanted to be a doctor, but now I'm not sure I can live without my music, so I have to kind of...
Do I tell him that one of the reasons I want to go to Wesleyan is because my boyfriend? No, I don't think he needs to know that, because then it kind of looks like I'm just following my boyfriend, which I don't think I'm doing.
When I plan my courses for this year,
The thing about a college interview is that you really have to sell yourself and tell that person that's interviewing you all of your best assets. Why you're so great, why you're so wonderful, and really push yourself the whole time.
I think the hardest thing about right now is the waiting. There is absolutely nothing else that I can do to help the situation along. I've taken all the tests, I've written all the essays, I've done all the extracurricular activities I'm going to do, and it's all sitting in an envelope, waiting for someone to read it and to decide my future.
Okay. Also, too, I was a person that did a lot of bad things. I've done crime and everything.
Yes! I got in! I got in! Congratulations, I am pleased to inform you that you have been accepted for admissions to the College of Arts and Science in NYU as an early decision candidate. Hello, Janelle. I got in. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So I saw the guy coming up the walkway, and I noticed a big white envelope, and then I recognized the logo, Columbia's logo, and I knew that was good news right away.
We read, "It is my great pleasure," and immediately we knew...
Mark says, "I'm in!"
Right. Immediately we knew that was good, and so we celebrated and screamed and yelled.
Well, I got home and found a package from Wesleyan waiting for me. It said, "Welcome to the class of 2000." So I was somewhat happy. You know, school's a school, so that's cool.
My immediate reaction was, I was pretty disappointed, and I was hoping that I could get in early, so at least there wouldn't be this pressure hanging over me for the rest of the year. It always seems like I'm trying to figure out, well, what exactly about myself didn't click that I could, what else could I be doing that could help me get in even more? And it's just, I can't seem to find anything in particular, like, whether it would be a grade in one class or a lack of extracurriculars in this area. There's nothing really like that where I can say, this is the area where I can improve.
You know, and I guess I shouldn't take it that personally because, you know, there's so many applicants and they have to pick the best and this and that. And what it comes down to is that I wasn't good enough for them to, off the bat, say, yep, we'd love to have you. And I guess I'm just not quite up there where I thought I was. And that's really hard to deal with.
I know that I was upset. I was really, really upset, and my parents were supportive in the sense that they understood that I was upset, but at the same time I knew that they weren't upset. Both my parents were both happy almost that I didn't get into Yale. They always from the start were saying how Yale was just not the place for me. It would have been hard for me to stay at the top. It would have been hard for me to shine, as my mom always puts it, at Yale. And she believes that when it becomes hard for me to shine, I become easily discouraged.
It's
a lot of stressful times. I mean, it might not seem stressful because there's nothing to do, but not knowing is a lot more stressful than leading your life as it comes. And the feeling that I don't know where I'm going to be living in September is sort of a scary feeling.
I sit here in class wondering, well, what's the point of being in school anymore? Because I don't even know what's going to happen to me in the future. I mean, it seems like such a big decision, and I'm just waiting for other people to affect my life.
I have no fun to be around because college is the only thing on my mind, and because I'm the biggest pessimist right now. The only thoughts that can go through my head are, what if I don't get in anywhere, and what if I don't get into the schools that I want, and I'm not going to be happy last year. It's the worst possible thoughts, and it's a very stressful time.
If she tells me she got into Princeton, I'm going to break something. Hello? Did the mail come? Why are you home? I'm fine. Why are you home? Okay, wait, I'm not crazy. It is Monday, isn't it? Okay. No. Did the mail come? Nothing?
Last but not least, Harvard. Dear Mr. Giordano, I am very sorry to inform you that it is not possible to offer you admission to the class of 2000. I wish I were writing to report a different decision, but the competition was so rigorous, and there were so many outstanding young men and women to whom we could not offer places in the class. There's not much I can say. I mean, I wanted to go to Harvard, but what can I say? Every place I applied is a great school, and as they say in their letter, which I agree with, it's what you make out of your experience, not necessarily where you go. I can't predict, just like they say, they can't predict which students would take advantage of their 4 years the most. I can't predict what college, basically just from visiting them, I would enjoy the most. So this could work out for the best, but it's a disappointment now.
I'm waitlisted at Connecticut. That doesn't matter. No.
Which one was that?
Well, the second one is Williams, but I kind of knew I wouldn't get in there, but Middlebury. Middlebury was the last one. And it says, this letter is never an easy one to write. While we wish we had enough spaces in our entering class to offer admission to every applicant, the unhappy reality is that we do not. I regret to inform you that we will not be able to offer you admission to Middlebury College.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it's not like the biggest thing because I'm so happy, but that would have been nice.
Uh-oh. No mail. That's extremely weird. Oh. This is interesting. I've never not gotten mail this late. Sounds like I'm up for the day. This is Mr. Giordano from 1 Jeanette Drive. I haven't received any mail yet today, and it's normally here by now. I was wondering if there was any thing I should know about, or just late. It's taking such a long time. Columbia University. Dear Dear Jason, it is my great pleasure to inform you that you have been selected for admission to the class of 2000 at Columbia College. The Dean of the College, Austin Quigley, and the members of the admissions committee join me in sending you our warmest congratulations. That's relieving.
Oh, here, come in. I have a great surprise. Look what came in the mail today.
It is you.
It's here. It's from Leslie, and I'm going.
Unbelievable.
They accepted me, and I had no idea it was going to come today.
How are your parents handling it?
I can't eat either. My mom wrote me an email yesterday from work, so I got it when I got home. And she said my stomach was in knots the whole day. My dad wakes up early in the morning. Like, you'd think they were the ones going to college. It's so funny. Okay, let's go.
We should? You think we should?
Well, you can sit in the car if you want. But I'm going.
I know. You want to hear from her?
Here, talk to Daddy. Hamilton. I'm really crying. I'm so happy. I always cry when I'm happy.
That's the best time.
Like, I never cry when I'm sad. I always cry when I'm happy. Oh, I feel so good. Like, I'm so happy.
Okay, read it again.
Okay, it says, Dear Allison, congratulations. On behalf of the admission committee, it is my pleasure to inform you of your acceptance to Hamilton College and to invite you to become a member of the class of 2000. Oh, good. I'm so happy.
Today is Monday the 8th, and over the long weekend I heard from the remaining two schools, Princeton and Dartmouth. From Princeton I was denied, no wait list or anything, just pure denial. And then from Dartmouth I was accepted. So it was mixed news. It is disappointing and it is a letdown, and you try to ask, well, why did they do this and what else could I have done? But I mean, there's nothing you can do to change it now, and I know that I've tried my best and done everything I can, so.
So I was down in Florida, and I'd constantly be calling my parents and be like, have you checked the mail yet? Has it come in the mail? And they kept saying no. And then finally my mom was like, yeah, some did come. So I was like, tell me, I'm like all excited, and I really, really want to know. And she begins to tell me everything that happened. She told me that I'd been denied from Yale, or rejected. Of course, I hate that word, but I'd been denied acceptance is what I prefer to say. But that sort of upset me, but I quickly was able to move on from that because I had no urge to go to Yale by now. I mean, I had pretty much accepted the fact that I wouldn't be getting in anyway, so that didn't really bother me. Then she told me that I'd been waitlisted at Columbia, and that hurt, actually. I mean, as much as I really didn't want to go to Columbia, knowing that they didn't want me either was sort of painful, because I thought they were the ones who would definitely be, like, definitely want to take me, you know what I mean? And let's see, when I got denied from Duke, it was painful because I thought that I would have gotten in. I mean, I didn't want to go, but the worst was when it was Brown. I mean, I really wanted to get into their medical program. I wanted their medical program pretty much more than anything, and I don't know if it's whether I wanted it or whether it was my father who wanted it or whether it was just the ease, the fact that I would have automatically gotten into medical school. At this point, I don't know, but I know that that's really hard for me to accept right now. I mean, that's just, there's no other way to explain it, but it's hard for me to accept the fact that I won't be going to Brown. I mean, for some reason, it had just sort of become either ingrained in my head, I don't know what, but I just sort of thought that I would definitely get in there. And I guess, when you set your hopes too high, you get them crushed, and it's just a really depressing thought. But as of now, I'm going to Penn, and I don't know if I'm happy about that, I don't know if I'm upset about that, but at this point, it's what my mom says, it's reality. And it's something that, whether I can accept it now, I will eventually have to learn to accept it.
incredibly happy here. I think that from the first few days and the first few weeks, I found myself to be very comfortable here, in the environment, in the atmosphere, among the people, among the professors. It felt like home. I can't believe I cried now that I think back on it so much. I guess I can stand here now and look back on it and say that I'm happy where I am now, so it doesn't really matter. I think at the time I was mostly upset because it was rejection.
You get up to college, and we all went through this competitive process, and we pitted ourselves against each other, against our classmates and our friends and our boyfriends, to see who would get in and when and where, you know, and it was such a competitive thing, and I got here and there's no competition. It doesn't matter how good someone did on their SATs anymore, or whether they took the AP Bio class, or how they did on that AP Bio exam. And it amazes me that I was ever able to do that, and that I did, because how it must have. I think it really screws with your self-esteem, and you know, am I good enough?
I absolutely love Dartmouth here. I've completely put Harvard and anything else from the past out of my mind. Looking back on the whole process of applying, etc., it just seems like it was so far away in the past, and just everything I thought then seems like, well, why was I thinking this? And I really had no idea, and I just realized how absolutely clueless I was throughout the whole process.
It's amazing how happy I am here, because sometimes I look back and I realize that Penn wasn't really my first choice, but it's definitely where I want to be, and it's definitely like, it's where I should be.
I'm doing really well. I adjusted like that. I'm living on an all-male floor, and I've got a great bunch of friends. Living in a single room, which is really great. I'm doing okay academically. I could be doing better. Yes, Sarah and I are still together.
And not only are we together, we're probably closer than we ever have been.
I like NYU because of the school, not just because of academics, because I found a lot of great friends, both commuters like myself and dormers.
Trying to juggle Kayla and work, it's not that bad, as people may think. People always, if I tell people, they would say, oh my God, isn't it so hard? But it's not that hard, because I have the support of Vaughn and my grandmother, and Kayla is not that bad, right?
Here I am at Columbia, months after the applications are over and I've started school. Been here a couple months, and it's been very different from what I expected. My approach to college life has been different, and I think pretty unconventional. I have a girlfriend now, Cheryl, who I love dearly, and it's changed my perspective on a lot of things, on how I treat school, its place in my life. It's no longer the be-all and end-all of who I am.